This is Look West, a podcast from California's Assembly Democrats.
Hi, I'm Emily Weber, and this is Look West. Welcome to the final installment of the Assembly Democratic Caucus New Members episodes. In the past 2 episodes this month, we met a dozen new members of the Assembly Democratic Caucus. In this episode, we'll meet 5 more. Joining me on this Look West welcome wagon is producer Don Andrews. Hey, Don.
Hi, Emily.
Let's run through who we've met so far. Mark Gonzalez,
Rhodesia Ransom,
Nick Schultz,
John Harabidian,
Dr. Lachey Sharp Collins,
Anna Marie Avila Farias,
Chris Rogers,
Maggie Krell,
Patrick Ahrens,
Jessica Caloza,
and Sade El Hawari.
and there's still 5 more new members.
Don and I talked with the new members shortly after their election when they were in Sacramento for their 2 days of orientation meetings, briefings, and prep work to be Assembly members. Don, let's start with the new Assembly member from North San Diego. You met up with her outside the Assembly chambers.
Welcome to the Assembly Democratic Caucus. The Look West listeners would love to know a little bit about you. Tell us who you are and where's home.
Hi, I am Dr. Darshana Patel. I am a new representative from the 76th Assembly District. Home is the north part of the city of San Diego. The Assembly District also includes Escondido and San Marcos and lots of county unincorporated communities in between.
Tell us a little bit about home for you. Family, friends, pets?
Yes, I've got 3 teenage daughters, one who's 19, 17, and 14. It's a very busy household.
Wow.
All of them are competitive gymnasts and they do Indian classical dance, so we're busy all the time. And thankfully, I have a very supportive husband who helps run the home with me.
Teenage girls and 3 of them?
3 of them, that's right.
That is indeed a full-time job right there. I have 1, and that's plenty.
Oh, but they're good kids. They keep their schedule. 2 of them are driving, so it's gotten much easier.
It sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Tell us, do you have a favorite spot or 2, restaurant otherwise in your district?
Yeah, there's so many. It's hard to count. But there's a great Indian restaurant called Naturally Desi. Mm-hmm. It's a woman-owned business, and the owner has actually developed her own recipes. So we really like to go there.
I read in their bio that you're a scientist. Tell us, what is the doctor part of Assemblymember Dr. Patel?
Yeah, so thanks for that question. I have a PhD in biophysics, and I used that degree to help develop novel oncology therapeutics while I was working at Genentech. But then I had a personal family tragedy that really asked the question of, is this all I can do to help humanity? And so I wanted to take a change from the work I was doing in research biotech and switch my purpose and focus to public service.
Science is certainly a worthwhile background to have. Will it help you and will it inform your work here? And what other elements of your background will help you as you try and develop legislation here in the State Assembly?
Scientists definitely have a methodical way of approaching problem solving.
Sure.
We're very systems oriented. We like to see processes put in place. And so I think this rational problem solving approach will help me look at bills from a different perspective than maybe some of my colleagues would. I'm very data oriented. I want to see and understand how these legislative actions will impact our communities and how they'll be implemented.
Tell us what the top priorities will be for you.
Well, the people in our community are really struggling. Housing is a huge issue. As we're trying to build California's economy, what we're seeing is our public service employees aren't able to afford to live in the communities that they serve. And it's not just public service employees. Rank and file workers are just struggling to find housing. And if they can't find housing, it will become harder and harder to conduct the services that we want them to provide in our communities. And so housing is definitely a top priority, as well as keeping down costs in general with utilities, insurance, et cetera, but protecting public education access and healthcare access. I think both of those 2 things, if we look at building great societies, we need both of those. We need an informed electorate and informed citizenry who can realize their dreams through having a strong background in their own education, and then being able to access healthcare in a timely way from highly qualified staff is also very important to me.
They call the podcast Look West because in theory the rest of the country can look west to California for leadership. Is California a leader on the issues important to you?
We're getting there, certainly. We have some tough challenges to face, and we're building effective policies to get us there. But sometimes when we miss the mark, we have to be able to do some self-reflection and see what we can do better. The world is changing, the way problems are created and solved are changing, and we need to meet our future where it is.
Thanks, Dr. Patel, for visiting with us today.
Thank you. It was great.
Dr. Patel joins 4 other members of the Democratic Caucus who are doctors or have PhDs. Emily, there is one member that we weren't able to catch up with during the orientation.
Catherine Stefani is one of the 17 new members we did not talk with during orientation. I did, however, get in touch with her via Zoom. Thank you for joining us, Assemblymember. Why don't you start by just telling us your name, a little bit about yourself, and where you're from?
So my name is Catherine Stefani, and that is the true pronunciation. A lot of people think it's Stefani, but Stephen in Italian is Stefano, not Stefano. So I have to correct everyone, but I don't get offended if people say Stefani. But I was born in San Francisco, but raised in the Central Valley in Merced. But I've been here now in San Francisco longer than I've been anywhere else for about 21 years. I am a mom. I have a 20-year-old son. He just turned 20, and a 15-year-old daughter. I am an attorney, practiced law for about 10 years before going into public service and public policy full time.
Can you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to run for office?
Yeah, I've always been interested in public office. I was an intern for my Congressman Tony Coelho when I was 16 years old, lived in Washington, D.C. for a summer at Georgetown University, and really saw how in the constituent relations that I was working on, how my congressman and all those that worked for him were able to really help people with just real life problems. And I loved watching that take place on the ground in Merced when I would see him at our, picnics after church and things like that. And then seeing it while I was working in the office, it was just amazing to me the difference I saw that he could make in people's lives. And I wanted that. I wanted to really make a difference and help people. It's just how I've been raised to give back to my community. And it's always been in my heart. So practicing law for 10 years, both criminal. I was a prosecutor for 3 years, and then I did real estate litigation and other types of litigation. I just knew my heart was always in public service, so wanted to get back to it. And I went back to law school in 2003 and got my LLM, my Master of Laws in Government and Public Policy, which really helped, center my work around public policy.
What part of public service or what aspect of it seems most important to you? I know you talked a little bit about seeing the firsthand impacts that your giving back does, but is there something specific that really hits really close to home or really near and dear to your heart?
Yeah, I think for me, public safety is something that I've cared deeply about for personal reasons. I grew up in a home after my mom remarried that wasn't all that safe. She was in an abusive relationship, and I saw a lot. I'm the oldest of 6 kids. My mom and dad had 4, so it was me and my 3 other siblings at the time, and just saw a lot from a 9-year-old girl's perspective that I wasn't used to seeing and didn't understand. And my life's work is really centered on, a lot of domestic violence, public safety. Done a ton of gun violence prevention work as a volunteer, as an aide to many different politicians who worked on that. And then, of course, now as an elected official, when I was supervisor, I passed a lot of gun violence prevention laws. And I hope to do the same here in the California State Assembly.
Just one last thing I wanted to ask you is, do you have a favorite spot in your district that you've been to or that you recommend anybody who's visiting the district to go to?
Yes, I'm fortunate to live right next to the Presidio, which is a national park, and the Golden Gate Bridge. It's where I run all the time. It's where we go and picnic at the Presidio tunnel tops. It's just a gorgeous area with views of the water, hiking trails, great place to eat. I call it my backyard, but the Presidio National Park and the Golden Gate Bridge outlooks are just one of my favorite places to be in San Francisco.
Assemblymember, you mentioned that a big hobby of yours is running. Do you have any really strong achievements or goals that you have towards furthering that sport for yourself?
Yes, well, I hope to start running more. I have done 3 marathons. My last marathon was the New York Marathon in 2019. But I've also done about 7 triathlons. And so I like to spice up my running with some swimming and biking as well. So my son just did his first half Ironman this summer, and he just signed up for Escape from Alcatraz Triathlon. And I hope to join him in his trainings and get back to it if my schedule allows it. But it's really we always say, what do we do for fun? We swim, bike, and run. So
I bet we'll see Assemblymember Stefani running around the streets of Sacramento soon. Dawn, you spoke with a new member from South LA, who is apparently quite the foodie.
Welcome to the State Assembly and the Assembly Democratic Caucus. The Look West listeners would like to know a little bit about you. Tell us your name and where's home?
Thank you. Super excited to be here. My name is Jose Luis Solache. My home is the city of Linwood, AD 62.
Tell me a little bit about that home. What's your home all about?
I was raised, I was born, served, and worked in the district. 21 years, local public office, currently the mayor of Linwood. Excited to get to Sacramento and do some good work.
Talk about your district itself. You have a favorite hangouts, parks,
We have
restaurants?
one of the best restaurants in the district. I look forward to being a member that's going to be active and hopefully starting a new caucus called the Foodie Caucus.
Oh, really?
And ensuring that we bring the goodness of every district. But of course, it all starts at home. So we have great Mexican mariscos in my district. We have great, delicious Mexican food. So we are excited to bring that perspective to also Sacramento and be a little human sometimes.
And I read that you got into politics early. You were a student body president back in high school?
23 years old when I, right after college, a student body president at Cal State Dominguez Hills.
Oh, okay, college.
Ran for the school board at the age of, I was running at 22 when I filed for office. And then at the age of 23, I was elected. And since, I've been in office for 21 years, 10 on the school board, and 11 years on the city council.
What was your inspiration to decide that public service and serving other people was for you?
It's a variety of things that attribute to my public service, but one of them, full circle to today, is I was student body president, but statewide chair for the CSU, representing 400,000 students. I would come to the Capitol at the Senate and Assembly Education Committees, testify, and then go back home to go to school. So definitely full circle from that kind of first moment in Sacramento at the age of 21 to now being 44 and being here in Sacramento.
That must feel like quite an accomplishment there.
Absolutely. We fought the good fight in higher ed and looking forward to do some good work here in higher ed. Definitely, our safer communities and ensuring that our communities are always protected, making sure local jobs are a priority for our district.
Right.
And we have beautiful parks in Lakewood and throughout the district. So I'm excited to be an advocate in those spaces too.
It sounds like education might be one of your top priorities. Is that true?
Higher ed is definitely a personal commitment of mine.
And others?
I personally believe that education transforms communities.
Yes.
So I really believe that as a core issue. Definitely I want to make sure people have local jobs. In the time where people are hurting, we need to make sure people are employed and are being good providers to their families. And so I look forward to being in those spaces.
Before I let you go, one last question. It's called Look West because we think the rest of the country should look towards California as a leader. Is California a leader in your perspective?
California always leads. We're one of the strongest economies. We're one of the strongest states. And I'm excited to and proud to be part of Californian.
Thanks, and welcome to the Assembly.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
In addition to his obvious solid work ethic, it seems like Jose will bring a bit of fun to the Capitol. Dawn, you also spoke with two new members from the Inland Empire.
I caught up with Robert Garcia and Michelle Rodriguez in between their briefings at the Capitol. Well, let's start with my conversation with Robert Garcia.
Welcome to the State Assembly and the Assembly Democratic Caucus. I'm sure the Look West listeners want to know a little bit about who you are. What's your name? Where's home?
Thank you, Don. Robert Garcia, representing the 50th Assembly District in the Inland Empire, San Bernardino County. The communities represent are Fontana, Rancho Cucamonga, Ontario, Rialto, San Bernardino, Loma Linda, Redlands, Bloomington, and Colton.
Tell us a little bit about you and your home. Married, kids?
Yes. Actually, going to be celebrating my 17th wedding anniversary.
Very nice.
My wife, Samantha. We have 3 kids, ages 16, 13, and 7. I got a little one that hit the reset button.
Full-time job, just being dad to 3 kids and running a home like that. Are you also prepared for a full-time job up here?
Yeah, so I don't think I'd be here without the support of my family. They've been fantastic through this whole journey, and so yeah, we're looking forward to this next chapter.
The Inland Empire is one of the more unique areas of the state of California. What's your favorite part? Any favorite restaurants? Tell us a little bit about your home district?
Yes, so my home is in Rancho Cucamonga. It's on the western portion of the district. The portion, like I said, stretches from Ontario to Redlands along the 10 freeway. And so, yeah, one of my favorite restaurants would be Cara Mia, which is in Rancho Cucamonga. And so, yeah, an Italian place. And so I really, really love Italian as well as pizza as well.
Oh, outstanding. And I will take that Italian recommendation next time I'm down there. You're here, your background, were you a local representative?
I served on the school board of the Anawanna School District for the past 8 years, which is the communities of Rancho Cucamonga and Fontana. It's one of the jewels of the Inland Empire, one of the top school districts in the state. We're really proud of that fact. I am an educator by trade, 22-year educator, served as an assistant principal for 9 years and 13 years prior as a math and science teacher.
That must inform you well as to what are going to be your top priorities here in the State Assembly. Tell us a little bit about what you expect to be focused on.
Yeah, absolutely. Education is near and dear to my heart, but there are other issues that are affecting our area, and so would like to increase the housing supply in our area, as well as bring jobs and economic development to our area. We are the second largest metropolitan area in the state. So
really?
Yes. So most people feel it's LA or it's LA then probably the Bay Area, but it is the Inland Empire based on the statistics of the last census.
Well, thanks very much for visiting with us, and we'll talk to you as the days and months go by here in the State Assembly.
Thank you, Don. It's been a pleasure.
Just a short time later, I spoke with Michelle Rodriguez.
Hi, my name is Michelle Rodriguez. I'm home in District 53, which is Pomona, Ontario, Montclair, Chino, and Upland south of Foothill. I was actually born and raised in Ontario.
Oh, wow, a native. That's very cool.
Yes.
You must know the district pretty well then.
Yes, I was born and raised in Ontario, and my husband was born and raised in Pomona. We raised our children in Pomona, so I kind of have the best of both worlds in both counties.
That's great. Tell us a little bit about your district. What's your favorite hangouts for you?
So my district in Pomona, we have the Fox Theater, which is a landmark. We also have the Fairplex, and they have the NHRA drag races there every November, and they used to have them in February. I think they kind of changed the season this time, but...
Right. I think I've seen those on television.
Yes, and we also have Western University in my district. In Ontario, I have the Toyota Arena, the Convention Center, Ontario Airport.
It's so nice when I get to go through Ontario instead of LAX.
Oh, exactly.
Isn't that nice? It'd be probably easier for you to get up here, I would think.
Oh, yes.
Which you'll have to do a few times. Tell me a little bit, first of all, before I get too far from your district and your home, about your home. You're married to a former Assembly member.
I'm actually married to a former Assembly member. I'll be replacing him. I heard I have big shoes to fill.
You do. Mr. Freddie Rodriguez did quite a good job while he was here and was a notable voice here in the Assembly.
Yes.
And I'm sure that you will fill those shoes quite well.
Right, and it was never my intention to fill those shoes, but, just being a young mother and knowing what it was like to buy my family groceries or pay my water bill really resonated in my district. Affordability right now is big.
It really is.
In California.
And tell us a little bit more about your background, what that will inform your work here in the Assembly.
Yeah, so I actually went to a career college, became a medical assistant, started working right out of high school in a doctor's office, went on to work for workers' comp. Then I worked for Inter Valley Health Plan, which is an insurance company. And then I broke off from there to work for a third-party administrator that administered all the claims, authorizations for the health plan. And so I have a big background in that. And then my kids were in school, sports, busy, so I just started working part-time. So I went back to adult school to do campus security. So I worked at the high schools doing campus security for a while. Wow. And then I worked in the Young Mother program, which I was actually part of when I was in high school. So I went back to.
Tell us what will be the top focuses, top priorities for you once you get to sit down there on the green carpet.
I know it's making our districts all across the state more affordable. We have a big homeless issue. In my district, which is in Pomona, we have a big prostitution issue. We have prostitution, sex trafficking. Okay. I do ride-alongs with the police officers. We've had girls on the streets that are like runaways from other states that come over here. So that's a big issue in our district.
So you're brand new. I know that you've been here before because you came probably to visit with your husband when he was serving as an Assembly member as well. How does it feel to be under the dome as part of the Assembly now?
Actually, I've been coming back and forth with him the past 11 years, but it's kind of funny to be like in the class, the new freshman class, right? Because I kind of feel like the senior that's in the freshman that flunked and had to come back to the freshman class. Because, I do know my way around. I know a lot of the members, the sergeants, so. But it's a different feeling now. It's kind of surreal because I never thought I would do this ever.
Thank you very, very much for talking with us today, and we hope to talk to you again in another Look West episode in the months and years ahead.
Thank you so much, and I can't wait to get busy for my district and for the whole state of California.
Well, that's all of the 17 new members of the Assembly Democratic Caucus. We will hear from many of them during the Look West episodes of 2025. You can catch new episodes of Look West on the third Thursdays of each month. Thanks to all of the new members. Thanks to producer Don Andrews, and thank you for listening. I'm Emily Weber, and this has been Look West.
The Look West podcast is produced by the DCO Pod Squad for the California Assembly Democrats. Please like, subscribe, and share this episode. When you think of Californian politics, remember to look west.